Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the core, counterintuitive insights of Thomas J. Stanley's The Millionaire Mind. And we're going to capture the absolute essentials of this groundbreaking research in under 8 minutes. So if you think you already know what it takes to get rich, well, get ready to have your assumptions completely challenged.
Let's dive right in with a provocative question that honestly challenges how society typically views wealth and success. Are you controlled by credit, or are you actually in control of your destiny? It's a heavy question, right? But it is literally the dividing line between those who just look rich and those who actually are.
To really hit this home, listen to this. We own it all. You guys run them for us. This actually comes from Gene, a self-made millionaire interviewed in the book who buys distressed assets. He was looking out a window with a senior bank officer who pointed to the city skyline and exposed a massive illusion. So many people who look incredibly rich, living in giant houses, driving leased luxury cars, are really just taking care of property for the banks. Their entire lifestyle is completely dependent on credit.
Section 1. The Real Millionaire Mind, the True Nature of Wealth.
When Dr. Stanley did his comprehensive study of over 700 millionaires, you know what he did? He completely bypassed the flashy, credit-addicted consumers. Instead, he meticulously designed his research to find the people who actually accumulated significant net worth. He wanted to know how these folks balanced their drive to become wealthy with living an enjoyable life, all without being highly leveraged.
Moving right along to Section 2, Balance Sheet versus Income, knowing the difference.
Okay, so there is a critical difference between the illusion of wealth and actual financial independence. Stanley basically separates people into two groups. First, the income statement affluent. These are folks with big incomes, big homes, and big debt, but surprisingly low net worth. As he puts it, they are experts at preparing loan applications. On the flip side, we have the balance sheet affluent. These people are the true focus of the millionaire mind. Their assets greatly exceed their credit liabilities, and they carry little to absolutely no debt.
Get this, only 4.9% of U.S. households actually have a net worth of $1 million or more. These true millionaires are rare, and surprisingly, they don't usually live in flashy new subdivisions or massive custom estates. No, they often cluster in older, well-established upper-middle-class neighborhoods. They tend to buy homes when others are selling, and they usually hold tiny or even zero balances on their mortgages.
Which brings us to Section 3, the 5 success factors. What makes them rich? Seriously, what actually makes them rich? You might assume it comes down to insider trading, inherited trust funds, or just hitting the lottery. But the data reveals a completely different formula. In fact, 60% of these millionaires never received a single dollar of inheritance. The crucial point here is that millionaires attribute their financial success to these 5 honestly kind of unglamorous foundation stones. Number 1, integrity, just being honest with everyone. Number 2, discipline and self-control. Number 3, social skills, simply getting along with people. Number 4, a supportive spouse. And number 5, hard work. No magic tricks, just the basics. And hey, if you're relying on a lucky break, consider this number. Out of 30 success factors analyzed in this massive survey, these self-made millionaires ranked luck way down at number 27. They don't gamble, they focus entirely on what they can control.
All right, Section 4, the myth of genius, grades versus wealth. Most millionaires were not considered to be intellectually gifted as determined by standard test measurements or school grades. This brilliantly illustrates that perfect SAT scores are not the ultimate gatekeepers to economic productivity and success. Many of these incredibly wealthy individuals actually had pretty lackluster academic records.
So how do they outcompete the straight-A students? While traditional schools almost exclusively measure analytical intelligence, self-made millionaires succeed because they heavily leverage 2 other traits: creative intelligence and practical intelligence, which is really just everyday common sense. They find unique, profitable vocations they love, and they use that practical intelligence to thrive. Furthermore, because they weren't always at the top of their class, they developed what Dr. Stanley calls a mental armor plate. They learn early on to deflect harsh evaluations from critics. This sort of mental immune system allows them to take the financial risks necessary to control their own destiny. They think success, they refuse to think failure, and they just completely ignore the detractors.
Let's look at Section 5, a different lifestyle, how millionaires live.
Ultimately, it all comes down to moderation in consumption and a healthy, disciplined lifestyle.
Instead of the extravagant indulgence Hollywood portrays, the yachts and the designer shopping sprees, the typical millionaire prefers to repair or refinish rather than buy new. They maintain an incredibly frugal game plan to make sure their wealth continues to compound.
Believe it or not, their daily habits look incredibly mundane. They constantly compute lifetime costs and benefits. They actually do their own grocery shopping, and they always use a shopping list. Why? To avoid the impulse buys that drain the average consumer's wallet. More than 2/3 of regular shoppers buy on impulse, but the millionaire mind applies fierce discipline even in the supermarket aisles. And the whole shebang culminates in this single guiding principle: think differently from the crowd. This perfectly summarizes the millionaire mind. From selecting a uniquely profitable vocation to buying a home to choosing a supportive life partner, they consistently swim against the tide of typical credit-addicted consumer behavior.
So, what should you take away from all this? The wealth equation is highly accessible. Hard work, integrity, focus, courage, and a supportive household. Ultimately, true wealth isn't some exclusive club for geniuses. It's a completely attainable mindset rooted in discipline, courage, and the absolute refusal to let others control your financial destiny.
That wraps up our explainer. But the final question you have to ask yourself right now is, are you building your own balance sheet, or are you just working to build someone else's? If you enjoyed this, subscribe to In 8 Minutes and never miss what matters. We'd love to see you for the next one.